Next, we have the 2016 Panhellenic President, Ms. Madeline Strasser. She'll be speaking to you shortly about on-campus students' engagement.
Hi, my name is Madeline Strasser, and I'm a senior majoring in international politics. In 2016, I served as the Panhellenic President. My topic is the role and responsibility of on-campus students in the downtown area of State College. I believe that my topic is important because a lot of times off-campus students are blamed for the negative relationship between long-term residents and students. But I believe now is the time for on-campus students to start taking responsibility and become more involved in the downtown community.
Hi everyone, as my nice introduction said, my name is Madeline Strasser, and I want to start with a story. So last year, I was introduced to a resident who has lived in between two fraternity houses for the past 20 years. He had many crazy stories to tell, but the craziest was that one night, while his wife and him were sound asleep, a hammer came flying through their bedroom window. Naturally, like anyone would if a hammer flew through your bedroom window, he called the police. After much investigation, they found that the boys, who lived across the street, decided to have a hammer throwing contest. The winner threw the hammer through the window. I tell this story because I think it is a good representation of how little thought students sometimes put into their role and responsibility in the downtown area of State College. So as my introduction said, last year I served as the Panhellenic President. As the Panhellenic President, I served on the Greek Life Task Force, and specifically the Community Relations Subcommittee. Members of the subcommittee included the chief of police, the borough manager, members of Penn State administration, and members, long-term residents, and other student leaders. There, we were able to candidly talk about the issues and benefits of students and long-term residents sharing the Highlands neighborhood. If you live in a house, especially a fraternity house, you probably live in the Highlands neighborhood and don't even realize it. So here is a map of the Highlands. If you live within the purple line, you live in the neighborhood. Today, I'm tasked with speaking to you all about the role and responsibility on-campus students have in the downtown area of State College. What makes Penn State so unique is that when you join the Penn State community at University Park, you are also joining the Borough of State College, Center County, and Highlands neighborhood communities as well. There's no way to avoid it unless you never want to cross College Ave during your time here. You are guaranteed to become members of this group. We are very fortunate here at University Park to have a downtown area that is so close to on-campus, that is safe and as welcoming as ours is, that other schools may not have. So during my conversations, I was able to talk about the issues and benefits of long-term residents and students sharing a neighborhood. I think as students, we are quick to put blame on long-term residents to choose to live in a primarily student-populated neighborhood. Why do they live here if they can't handle the noise? Or why do they have to ruin all our fun? Are questions I hear too often from students. But speaking to long-term residents, I learned that there are a lot of benefits to living in a primarily student-populated neighborhood. Many residents share that they enjoy living in the neighborhood because of the basketball games, the barbecues, and other events that make the community youthful. Surprisingly, all the residents shared that they never call the police for noise complaints, but they do call the police when extreme events happen, like the hammer instance. Or another neighbor shared a story of him going just to walk his dog and finding a group of women urinating behind his car. Or one night, another resident went outside and found a group of men playing mini golf on his lawn as if it was their own. I think there's a lot of pressure already put on off-campus students to be active and respectful members of the downtown State College community. But if you've ever stood at the Beaver Hill White Loop stop around 11 any night of the weekend, you would see there are hundreds of students who migrate from on-campus to the downtown area of State College every night. So as I said, I was the Panhellenic President, and as the President, I served a majority of the on-campus student population. For those of you who are unaware, sorority women are housed and take up a majority of South Halls. Personally, I lived on campus my freshman and junior year, but never put much thought into my own personal role and responsibility in the downtown area of State College until I became the president. So how do we, as students, foster a positive relationship between downtown residents and students? What I envision is not long-term residents and students who get along perfectly, because I know that will never happen. But what I envision is long-term residents and students who understand each other and understand what it means to be members of the downtown State College area. The Interfraternity Council and Off-Campus Student Union already do a lot to foster positive relationships between off-campus students and long-term residents. But what about the hundreds of students I mentioned that come from on-campus to spend time downtown? As I said, I lived on campus for 2 years, but never put much thought into my own personal role and responsibility. While I was president, many of my conversations revolved around the issue that fraternity men seem to take the blame for a lot of the negativity that occurs in the Highlands neighborhood. If a fraternity has a party and trash is left on the lawn, it is the fraternity's responsibility to clean it up the next day. Similarly, if a fraternity has a party and there's a fight and the police come, it is also the fraternity who takes the blame. But what about all the students that come and do not live in the house but are just visiting? On-campus students never seem to take the blame for any negativity that occurs within the Highlands neighborhood. In the Borough State College, there's a point system, and if you gain enough points, you can ultimately lose your lease. You can get points for doing crazy things like disorderly conduct or being in possession of illegal drugs, but you can also get them from just simply having trash on your lawn or a noise violation. What a lot of students don't realize is that this point system does not just pertain to fraternity houses. Any rental unit can rack up enough points and ultimately lead to losing their lease. Although on-campus students are just visitors to these houses in the downtown area of State College, they should still help the off-campus students abide by this system. You would never go to your friend's house in your hometown, trash it, and then leave without helping to clean up, or urinate in your neighbor's lawn, or have a hammer throwing contest in your parents' backyard, so why should you do it here? It all just comes down to student engagement. I learned as president that it's all about student buy-in. Members of administration, members of the Highlands, and even I, a student, can say, ask, mandate, or do whatever I want, but without student buy-in, there will never be any change. I believe creating change in the Highlands neighborhood is through teaching on-campus students about their role and responsibility in the Borough of State College, through hands-on voluntary engagement, and through helping them learn about the benefits of living in so many communities. Speaking in these conversations, we did bring up a lot of issues, but we also collaborated on how on-campus students can get more involved in the downtown area. Many long-term residents have long-standing careers and would serve as great mentors or networking connections for students. Forming these personal relationships would not only benefit students, but in turn also teach them about what it means to be a member of the community. Additionally, there are also a lot of hands-on, easy ways to get involved in community service downtown. Personally, I have participated in university-wide days of service, like State Day of Service in the past, which provided me with a fun and easy way to get engaged downtown. On-campus students seek out ways to get involved in the downtown community, but ultimately, it just comes down to being neighborly. Whether it's another student or someone who has lived in the Highlands for 20 years, every house and resident deserves to be treated with respect. So next time you decide to throw a piece of trash on the ground or play golf in a random yard, think about your surroundings and that while you may not live in the Highlands neighborhood, you still play a vital role in the community. I want to end by challenging you all to find something you're passionate about and to use that passion to bettering the Highlands community. As I said earlier, what I envision is not long-term residents and students who get along perfectly, because I know that is extremely ambitious, but what I envision is long-term residents and students who understand each other and understand what it means to be members of the downtown community. And I believe engaging on-campus students is the first step in the right direction. Many of you will live in University Park for 4 years, so be sure to take advantage of what it means to not only be a member of the Penn State community, but also the downtown borough, Center County, and Highlands neighborhood communities as well. Thank you.